Hey Dom, this is Dave Desai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about V or Taeyang and his response to Jin, and I guess confirming he and them all will be going, and there's some updates on what that's going to look like. I also want to get into RM writing his long goodbye and what that is about. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, see spilling milk merch, and let's jump into it. The first thing that I want to get into today is Jin and his military enlistment. Just some backstory in case you didn't know. Every single man in Korea that is above the age of 18 and below 28 has to enlist. Exceptions are only for athletes. Enlisting in the military, I realized I never clarified. People get so upset when I clarify, but there are younger people who watch these who don't know, so I'm happy to explain. Enlisting does not mean that they have to fight or go to war. It just means they have to do training. Since every male in Korea has to enlist, even if Korea broke out in a war, the last people they'd call would be the K-pop idols anyway. And most of the idols are out of the military for years now, so the government would likely pick the fresh soldiers out of the military, not the ones that have left for years. But anyway, Jin just has to go to training. It's not a death sentence. Jin won't be able to work, but he'll still be able to post on social media and likely post selfies and things like that. The idea of Jin enlisting scares armies because it means that BTS won't be 7 for a while, but it also gives the boys an opportunity to explore their individual talents, and we get to see possibly a mixtape from each of them, which is awesome. I honestly believe if they go separately, we probably won't even notice Jin's gone. Like, we'll know obviously, but Suga was gone for about a year due to his surgery. Didn't really feel like it, did it? It just went by so quick. BTS applied for a military deferment, and the deferment allows all of the members until they are 30 to enlist. All of them applied, including the maknae line, which is strange, right? Jungkook is not close to 28 years old. He still has 4 years, meaning he won't be required to enlist for 4 years, so he doesn't have to apply right now, but he did, which I believe, my conspiracy, he won't be enlisting this year, because if he planned on enlisting this year with all of the members together, why would he apply for the extension? Does that make sense? So he's not enlisting with Jin. They are not going to be enlisting all together as one, because Jin has to go this year, and it looks like he might go by himself. They are likely going to enlist separately, just my opinion. Now, there are military alternatives. I don't know if BTS qualifies for those. I don't know what the qualifications are, but I believe on February 24th of this year, a male Korean celebrity applied for a military alternative, something about religious exemption or personal belief. I think they were Jehovah's Witnesses, but I am not sure. There could be other loopholes for other groups of people. I didn't know this happened. Should have been bigger news. And I wonder if BTS knows, but the Citizens was able to skip the military and I believe spend 36 months at a prison and do prison work, not be locked in prison. I don't think this is the only alternative service. BTS could help clean up beaches or clean up the side of the road or work at a homeless shelter. But whatever the case is, it's something that exists. Keep in mind, when you read something like this, don't just think, oh, it's just some random male citizen. It's not about BTS. I don't care. Think about the fact that this is an alternative that can exist for Korean citizens. It can help BTS or other Korean citizens. V did talk about military service and how it will affect all of them. He talked about this in his Rolling Stone interview. He spoke about really just wanting to be with ARMY, and I imagine all the other members feel the same. Apparently, this is a subject that they didn't speak much about with each other, which is surprising to me because if I was going to the military, I'd be talking about it every second. But V does believe it will all work out eventually. I do think V could be mentioning Jin as well and also speaking for him a little bit too. Jin would probably be sad to leave ARMY and wouldn't want to for a few years. And of course, Jin has also spoken about this, saying that he knows this is an important duty for citizens to do, and he will work hard as he can until he is called. And then the article continued to say that for the time being, the group will work without Jin, and Jin will be there watching and cheering them on. And then he said that he will be sad. This is the first time we are hearing actually how they feel about the enlistment, which is that they're sad, or at least Jin might be. Also, according to Rolling Stone, Jin talked about how the government had seen how hard Jin was working and allowed for this deferment to happen. BTS enlisting at 30 is the first time ever a K-pop idol was allowed this type of exemption, and it comes from their achievements. They were able to achieve things that other idols can only dream of, and because of that, the government doesn't want to stop them right now. As we all probably know, and if you don't, here it is, the most important thing in the entertainment industry is to keep going is momentum. When you lose it, your career's flatline or almost over. It's one of the biggest fears for everyone in entertainment, and it's this idea that when someone gets a viral video or a viral song, they need to put out another one to build on top of that success so they can have a career for multiple years and not just be a one-hit wonder. But also, BTS has given so much to the Korean economy, and this is the real reason why the government really allowed for the extension. BTS has contributed about 1% of the Korean economy, which is billions of dollars. So 1% of the population in Korea has touched the money that BTS is putting into the Korean economy. So that's about about 500,000 people. And also HYBE has about 1,000 employees. They don't all work just for BTS, but some of their salary probably comes from it. So that's 1,000 people that would potentially get a pay cut if BTS was out of work, and that's also potentially 1,000 families. As messed up as it sounds, I think it makes me happy to hear BTS's sad moments and emotional moments. Not because I want them to be sad, but because I want to know that they're human and they feel things as well. It would feel quite a big disconnect if so many people were upset over the military, let's say, and BTS was like, yeah, let's do it. While I'd be happy that they were happy, I'd feel a little disconnected to them. RM is someone who has not been shy about expressing his feelings and just everything that is going on with him. RM wrote a song called Always about 5 years ago. It was very emotional, but he released it after he didn't feel like that anymore. He talked about how the song almost felt like he was blaming the world for his problems, and so he didn't want to release it. I guess to avoid sounding angry or upset with other people. A song that can definitely hurt some armies if they feel the song is about them, which it's not. The lyrics are very deep and talk about how he wishes himself dead. These lyrics were translated from Korean lyrics, so keep that in mind if it's inaccurate. RM also talked about how he misses himself, likely his old self probably, and talking about how he felt he lost his ways. But RM continued to talk about the song in a recent V Live. He said he was basically putting a long goodbye message to his old sorrowful self. I actually haven't heard of this song until more recently, and I was surprised that something like this had existed, which, by the way, if you want to see me react to older BTS songs, I have done some on my Patreon, a link down below. Now, of course, a lot of BTS's older songs were sadder and they're a lot more positive now, but this is definitely a song I imagine a lot of people relate to and felt the message. We all feel like there's a part of us that we wish we could get back, or maybe not even a specific part of us, but a specific time or era in which we wish we can go back to. I can't imagine the struggles that BTS went through in the beginning, and especially around this time when so many people hated them. BTS also started to gain a lot of traction and probably getting more well known. It became pretty obvious that they had to let go of their old self and change and adapt to a new self in order to fit in with this newfound fame of theirs. I can imagine how lonely it must have felt when old people around you start to change and ask for things that they never did. And you either have to start to pick your guard up, or you can be walked over by everyone and become a pushover. BTS are also kind, and I imagine in the beginning they were a bit of a pushover, but they learned that they need to protect themselves. And it's a hard realization when you realize that you have to change, not because you want to, but because everyone around you has. It's no surprise that people treat you differently when you have a lot of followers and, of course, have a lot of money, which I imagine BTS definitely did by this time. It's so funny that around 2017, BTS came up in America, and all these hosts were like, introducing a new up-and-coming artist, BTS. And I was like, just there like, upcoming? They're millionaires. They have a bigger platform than the host or TV station does. And the TV station and host knows that because BTS would not be on the show unless BTS had a huge following. TV stations aren't just putting idols on shows for no reason. They hope that the idols they put on help increase the show's ratings. Anyway, enough of that. I know RM is feeling better nowadays, and I'm so happy that he is no longer this angry, and I hope he doesn't have these awful thoughts anymore. But if he does, please share. We are here for him. Let me know what you think, and if you want to see more K-pop reaction videos, go to my Patreon, link below. I can't post them here due to copyright, but you can get all sorts of reaction videos and requests over there. It's a great way to support the channel even more if you would like to. Thank you so much for this lovely comment. I love you so much. There will be some videos that will pop up on screen at the end of this video, and I'll see you over there. Bye.